Log, July 10th, 2025, 12:45 p.m. Mira Bhayandar, safe room, 3rd-degree Kasik. The blue-painted walls sweat in the heat, peeling like old scabs. And the anime poster, Goku with that manic hair, watches me from above the barricaded window. All smug like he's got a senzu bean stash and I don't. I half smile for the radio's blinking red light, but my hands are already slick, and my breath tastes of panic and last night's stale dale. Manski Niles sits cross-legged by the bolted door, a bloody bandage around his arm and that tired medic's smile like we're about to play a game of chess instead of waiting for the next thing to claw through. "Check your pulse, Arjun," he says, voice low. "You're jittering like you saw a ghost, not just me." Priscilla Peachum, our so-called morale officer, perches by the cracked fan, humming some Bollywood tune off-key, her eyes darting from the flickering radio to the silent, bald man's photo on the wall. She's got that look, the one she gets right before she tries to pep talk us out of another death spiral. I mutter, "If those voices on the radio crackle run again, I'm throwing Goku out for bait." And Priscilla grins, too bright, saying, "It's just static, darling. The world's never as bad as it sounds in the dark." The power dims, shadows lurch, and somewhere beyond the peeling walls, we all hear it. Scraping, shuffling, like something's found our scent and there's nowhere left to hide. Log, July 10th, 2025, 1:13 p.m. Mira Bhayandar, safe room, 30 the guy. The pale lavender walls are sweating under the midday heat, warped and twitchy as my own nerves. And the sunlight, leaking through the cracked fan grill, looks less like hope and more like a surgeon's lamp before the cut. I'm propped on my elbow, half-dazed, trying to pretend I'm just another bored guy stuck in a power cut. Except, every time I blink, I swear the eyes in that stupid family portrait on the wall seem to slide sideways, like they know what's coming. Jules Pepperfield sits at the edge of the cot, mouth twisted in a half-grin, picking at the frayed orange garland hanging beside the switch. "You know, Arjun," she drawls, "if the scratching gets any louder, I'm voting we throw that haunted portrait out first. Maybe the creepers will choke on the frame." My smile doesn't quite reach my eyes, but I nudge her, voice shaky, bet it'd taste better than what's left in the pantry. Outside, the walkie fizzles, Jules' voice replaced by static. Static replaced by a stranger's whisper. "Let us in." It's too calm. The light in the room gets brighter, hotter, a spotlight for the condemned. Jules locks eyes with me, her fingers tightening around her scavenger's knife. And in that charged, suffocating silence, every slow second feels like the last breath. Before you run. Log, July 10th, 2025, 1:46 p.m. Mira Bhayandar, 30 Tarshi Tighiik, humid. I'm hunched on the sagging mattress, head down, thumbs tracing shaky spirals on a scavenged burner phone. The only thing left with a scrap of charge, screen flickering like it's haunted. The pale walls are sweating as bad as I am. Paint peeling, where Manski's makeshift bandage kit sits wedged in a cracked socket, and the only thing in this whole room that smells halfway decent is Priscilla's blanket, tugged up like a barricade against the muggy air and whatever's gnawing at the other side of the corridor. Manski drops beside me, drops of blood, his or someone else's, who knows, smearing the phone's cheap case as he leans in, murmuring, "You smiling at old selfies or just trying to forget the scratches?" His voice is soft, but under it there's this tremor, like he's bracing for the next breach. Priscilla peeks over the blanket's frayed edge, her voice too bright. "It's almost peaceful, isn't it? If you ignore the everything." That's when the walkie hisses again. Jules, voice crackling through static. "Got movement by the shelf, Arjun? Don't let the smile slip. Sometimes they watch for that." The room feels smaller, heat pressing in. Every corner a place for something awful to wait. My own face reflected in the dark phone glass looks like a stranger's. Tired, desperate, and just for a second, still hoping if I don't blink, nothing will get in. A thud rattles the door, hard enough to set Manski's bandage jar rolling off the windowsill and clattering to the floor, echoing in the sweat-slick hush. Priscilla flinches, and Jules swings her knife toward the sound, eyes cold with the kind of focus you only get when everything's one bad decision from disaster. "That's not a friendly knock," Jules mutters, voice flat as a dead battery. Manski drags himself upright, pressing his palm against the door, as if he could hold back all the world's rot by sheer will. "Don't panic," he whispers, mostly to himself. "If we look desperate, they'll smell it." Priscilla forces a smile, but her hands twist the blanket tighter around her shoulders. Maybe it's just someone looking for shelter, like us. She tries, but the hope in her voice cracks on the last word, thin as radio static. Another bang, 3 fast, 1 slow, then a low scraping plea. "Let us in. We have water. Please." My heart thumps like a broken drum. Jules edges closer to the peephole, knife raised, and hisses, "Peach, back up." If they had water, they'd be drinking, not begging at our door in this heat. Manski's eyes dart to me. Silent question. Mercy or survival? The air thickens, every breath tasting of old dread and stale sweat. And as the radio light flickers, I realize we're one bad choice away from letting the monsters in, no matter what badge or smile they wear. For a heartbeat, nobody moves, just the hum of the dying fan, the steady tick of drip, drip, drip from Manski's bandaged arm, and that voice behind the door, desperate but too smooth, like it's practice begging for mercy. Manski wipes his brow and flicks me a look. "You trust it?" My mouth's dust dry. If they had water, they'd be sloshing it under the crack, not selling it with a sob story. Priscilla's hands tremble on her blanket barricade, but she forces a sing-song. Maybe they're just scared, like us. We let them in. We get one more smile in the dark, or one more mouth to scream when the crawlers come. Jules snaps, blade glinting in the slant of sickly sunlight. Another bang, harder, more frantic. Then a wheezing, broken cough. Manski slides his back against the door, voice barely a whisper. "I'll hold this side. Arjun, if something happens, grab the radio and run." The radio's red eye blinks in the gloom, casting ghost shadows on the walls. And I realize the real nightmare isn't what waits outside. It's that, in here, we're one good deed away from inviting the apocalypse into our arms. The banging stops so sudden, it's like someone yanked the world's plug, and all I can hear is my own breath scraping through my teeth, sweat rolling down my temples. Outside, silence swells, a fat, suffocating pause. Then the walkie coughs to life, a stranger's voice, syrup slow and way too calm. "We're thirsty. Let us in." There's more coming behind us. Manski's hands grip the door frame so hard his knuckles go dead white, blood oozing dark into the bandage, but he shakes his head at me, jaw squared. Priscilla's voice trembles, but she inches forward anyway, tucking her hair behind her ear like she's prepping for a pep rally, not a siege. If we don't help, we're no better than what's out there. Jules snorts, a short, bitter thing, then drags the battered shelf tighter against the window, her eyes flicking to the radio's flickering red. Don't go soft, Peach. They could be one of us, but we don't know what that means anymore. The room stinks of nerves and old sweat, and as another voice, higher, cracked, pipes through the static, "Please, I hear them in the walls." I realize my hands are shaking as bad as the radio's dying light. I want to be brave, to crack a joke, but all I manage is a whisper. If we open that door, it's game over. Someone decide, because I can't. A bead of sweat stings my eye as the radio's red glow goes faint, like it's choking on our fear. And for a second, I swear, the shadows by the window crawl. Manski, jaw clenched, presses his full weight against the door, while his torn sleeve soaks up fresh blood. He shoots me a sideways glance that says, "Don't even think about heroics." Priscilla, her voice a trembling thread, edges up beside him and tries to sound like she still believes in happy endings. "Let's just talk to them, okay? No one's safe alone. Maybe they really do need help." The walkie hisses, that syrup-slow stranger voice again. Too steady, too cold. "If you don't open up, we'll have to let them know where you are." Them, behind us, crawling. Jules, knuckles white on her scavenged knife, turns and snaps. "Don't let the sob story fool you, Peach. Creepers can beg these days, or worse, get puppeted by what's already in seed." My stomach churns. Every instinct screams to bolt for the fire escape, or just smash the radio and end the guessing. Outside, another chorus of thuds rattles the barricade, and through the thin wall, the unmistakable rasp of a creeper's claws joins the pleading voices. Like whatever's out there can smell, we're one argument away from tearing each other open. A scream, raw, bloody, unmistakably human, shatters the standoff, ricocheting down the corridor like a warning shot from the universe itself. And before anyone can breathe, Manski slams his shoulder harder into the door, voice harsh. "Everyone back. This isn't a negotiation anymore." Jules darts to the window, squinting through the warped glass, her knife trembling in her fist as she catches a glimpse of figures, shadowy, hunched, more than just the beggars, swarming in the hallway, their movements too jerky, too wrong. "They brought friends and not the human kind," she mutters, panic threading her sarcasm thin. Priscilla, pale but still clutching her stained blanket like a shield, scrambles to my side, her voice barely above a prayer. "We can't hold them forever. Maybe if we offer supplies, they'll leave us alone." Another thud, this one splintering the wood, and the radio flickers, the stranger's syrupy voice morphing, glitching, until it's layered with guttural rasping. "Share or be shared." Manski's face is pinched with pain and effort, but his eyes, wild and lucid, lock on mine. Arjun, on my mark, grab Peach and Jules and get to the bathroom. It's the only room left with a bolt. I'll buy you time. The air is thick with dread and the copper tang of fear. But as I hear the first window pane shatter and see shapes writhing in the dusk-lit hallway, there's no time for hope. Just the desperate, messy scramble for a safe zone that might buy us one more breath in the darkness. We're scrambling, Me, Priscilla, and Jules across the slick, warped floor, breathless and stumbling as splinters rain from the door, and that thing on the other side coughs out another threat, half human, half something else. Manski's voice barks after us, raw and shaking. Go now. Don't look back, just lock it. I grab Priscilla's trembling hand, nearly yanking her out of the path of a toppled shelf, glass crunching underfoot, while Jules slams the tiny bathroom door behind us and shoves the rusty bolt home, the metal shrieking louder than our panicked breaths. In the flickering gloom, Priscilla's voice is barely a whisper. He can't hold forever, can he? And Jules, eyes wild, just shakes her head, clutching her scavenged knife like it's the only thing keeping her sane. The room's barely big enough for the three of us. Steam and fear press against the tile. And outside, the radio's red light pulses through the gap beneath the door. A warning or a beacon. Impossible to tell. My phone buzzes with a dead battery warning. Of course it does. And somewhere out there, Manski's voice rises, desperate, defiant. You want in? Come and get me, you creeps. The world shrinks to this sweating, shuddering safe zone, and the chorus of moans, shouts, and claws just beyond. Every second a countdown to whether we survive the night or become the next story, whispered over static. The bathroom walls sweat panic as much as we do, the cracked mirror warping our faces into ghosts, and every second outside is another nail in our coffin. Priscilla, kneeling on the lid of the busted commode, squeezes my arm so tight I swear she's trying to keep my bones from shaking apart. We're okay, we're okay, we're okay, she chants, voice ragged. Like if she says it enough, reality might believe her. Never mind the chorus of claws and desperate voices skittering down the hallway.